Hi everyone, today we'll be talking about how to consolidate multiple Excel sheets into one single sheet vertically. So this is basically known as append. Append helps to combine records from two or more analytic tables into a new table. And so we can actually do this using three methods. One of them is manually, and secondly, we're going to be using a function called VSTACK function to stack records vertically. So VSTACK basically is known as vertical stack because it allows you to stack records vertically. And then we'll also be seeing the advantages of VStack and how we can use it. And one of the disadvantages is that it may not be able or be so efficient for large data sets. So that is why the use of Power Query is very important. It is the best suited for business process. So when you want to work on large data and append large data, you want to combine large data vertically, you can use Power Query. So we're going to be using Power Query, which is the third method on how to append. So let's just go quickly into it. So the first thing we're going to be doing is to manually append this record. So basically, how can this be done manually? So I'm just going to name this manual. Yeah. So the first thing we need to do is just select all this randomly. Use a Control Shift, the arrow key to the right and to the and down, and copy and paste, which is not so applicable because you have to copy and copy records, and I won't advise us to use this method. But using VStack and Power Query is pretty easier than this. So let's just go ahead. So we can copy it without the heading, just the second row. From the second row we can copy. Alright, so when you have a large record, this is going to be a difficult process to keep going to tabs, different tabs, and getting your records from January to December. Peradventure we have records from January to December. This is basically what you'll be doing to append your records, and data might get even lost in the process, which is not advisable for you to use this kind of method. So I'm going to show you how to use the VStack vertical stack method. Two processes are involved in using VStack. So I'm just going to switch these guys to the front. So just drag, and so we can have our January to February match there. So VStack, as I've said, this is the function. To initiate a function, you need an equal to operator, and then the function name follows. So we're using VStack. VStack has different arguments or parameters. We have the array 1, array 2, and the likes. So you can put in the array. So one of its different sheets, January, sheet February, and sheet March into this record. So we can actually have them in one single table. So this can be done in two ways. So we're going to look at the first way. So you go to January, right? Select your records. So this is like you're referencing a record from another table. So you click on this, right? Control Shift arrow down, right? I think that's it. So let's be sure we got the right thing. So go back to where you initiated this function, which is right here. Can you see? So let's go back there. This is the function, right? You go to January, the header, right? So we can see displayed right here. You can click on the next argument by using your comma and go to the next February records, right? So not February records, we don't need header anymore. We just need the record. This is actually still not really suitable to use, but let's just see how it works as well. So the next argument is the third array, which is a March, the month of March as well. So we're going to pick that record, Control Shift down arrow key, and then we have the month of January, reference the month of January, the month of February, and the month of March, and then we can close it by closing with up parentheses, and then we can click on enter to give us all the records. So you can see it has populated all the records using VStack from the various table. I don't need to pick them manually one by one, just instead of using the control, which is almost the same thing for me. If you ask me, it's almost the same stress. So there's another way to do this without going to select everything, just reference the record. This is called 3D reference. So let's look at how it works. So one thing you just permit me, I need to get the heading of this table. So I'm going to copy this, right? And we want to paste it in this place, in the VStack here. So it's pasted with the formatting. So we want to use VStack, right? Equal to VStack, and type or use the suggested formula function. So now we need to reference different January, February, March, and we don't want to necessarily pick each of them. So what we have to do is to use 3D reference. So when we have a lot of tabs here, it will be difficult for you to start selecting it one by one like we just did. So if there's a lot of tabs, it will be difficult for you to do that one by one. So we can just click down on the first tab you want to initiate, which is January, right? And press down on your control shift, your shifts, your shifts, press down on your shifts and go to the last tab, the last sheet you're working with. So you click on January, press down your shift button on your keyboard. When you press on your shift button, then you click the last one, which is March. So if you can look at my formula bar, you can see January down to March. So it's speaking from January, anything between January down to March, that's what I want. So now we now have to tell this formula, VSTACK formula, the ranges at which you want it to pick, because I've not selected any range. So I want it to pick from A2, right? From A2 down to A32. So peradventure, the other records in this sheet has different inputs. It's going to be omitted, so we can increase it if there's any case where we have more records in January or in February. So we can increase the record so it can accommodate it. So you just close it, and then we have that initiated here. So yeah, so you can see my records. But there's one thing we can see here is that we can see that the records have a lot of zeros in it. So we can just manipulate this function right now and use the filter to filter all the necessary errors you're seeing there. So we're going to filter this record, yeah, filter, right? The next, this is our array we're filtering. So the next argument is to input the condition. So we're filtering this record using this column to A34, yeah. So it's actually important. So we're going to be searching for where we don't want to see any zeros in there. We don't want to see empty cells. We just want to see only our records. So we're filtering using this condition, and we're going to check if there's any error in it, and then we can go ahead. So let's check our record to see if there are any errors, any space or zeros in it. We can see that everything is cleared. We still have the same record with the initial one we filtered using VSTACK. So you can perform more actions if you want to sort an order date to be ascending order, so that you can see all the dates from the 1st of January to the 1st of to the end of March, and you want to see the highest sales from January. So you can actually do that. So but we have to change these date formats. It's showing us a general format. We have to change it to be dates. So yeah, this is well appreciated. I believe you are enjoying this short presentation on append. So let me quickly do the sorts before we go into the next thing, which is going to be appending with Power Query. So we're going to add another function, which is sort. So sort helps you to sort in arrays, both ascending, sorting arrays, both ascending or descending order. So this is our array actually. We're going to be sorting on this. So we want to select the index we're going to be sorting on, the column we're sorting on. So are we sorting on this? We're actually sorting on order dates and sales. So you can sort on two columns together, or you can sort individually, but we're going to be sorting them together using the curly braces. Right, so we want to pick the two index number starting from the brand is 1, 2, and 3. So this is 3, right? This K falls under 3, so put 3 there. And also we're going to be sorting on this guy here. So 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6. Right? You close your curly braces. So the next argument is by you're checking for the sort order. So are you sorting the first column, which is number 3? Are you sorting it ascending or descending? So we're sorting it ascending. We want to see from January down to March. So, but before they will have to put in our curly braces as well. Yeah. So remember, ascending is 1, descending is -1. So for the next one, right, 6, we're sorting 6 in descending order. I want to see the highest sales descending order, which is what? -1. I hope you're with me. So we'll close the brace, and if you initiate another comma, you get the last argument, but we don't need that, so we can just close everything, and that is it. Okay, so we say we have an error, so we're going to look at it. Okay, you can see the braces. This is what we're using. So 1 minus 1. Yep, it should work. Voila. So that's it. So I've successfully sorted this guy, order dates in ascending. So we want to check these formulas to see if when we add the records into it, if it will be displayed. So we want to see if we can add more records to our source file. So we have April, January, February, and March. January, February, April, right? We have the month of April. Scroll up, we have 4 to, just looking at our date here, right? 4 to, so 3 is missing. We want to be able to see if we can bring in 3 into this scenario, right? Without going to manually add it into it. So let's see what we can do about it. So it's missing. So we're going to go to where we have this record. We have it here. We have the month of March here, right? So how can we do that? Remember, let's click on this first. Remember these records, it's revealing the function name, the function we have for the VSTACK 3D function. So we're just going to go back to that file, right, and just copy this file and drop it in between. Yeah, can you see? Yeah. So, and as soon as we do that, we are very sure that we're going to see our records in VSTACK without going to manually put it there. So let's go to VSTACK and see what happens. So you see reflecting January to March. So you can know what is in between until you search. So let's scroll down. We have for January, February. I don't know if you can see what I'm saying. Can you see 3? We have for March. Let's scroll down to see if the number of records you have is the same with this. Can you see the number of records you have is now different? You have more records here because we've added January, February, March, and April in this record. So that is why Vista is important. So you don't need to go and manually type in your record or copy and paste it there. So you just put in the file there, and it's automatically adds up more records to you. So without wasting much time, let's go into how we can use Power Query. So using the same record and table that we have for January, February, and March, we're going to see how we can use Power Query to do that. And we learned earlier that Power Query is the best option to use when appending because it does it seamlessly. So we're going to see how that works. So let's go into a new sheet, and then we can go to Data on the menu bar, right? And then we can go to Get Data, and from Get Data we'll see from File because we're selecting from Excel file. So we're going to click on from Excel workbook, right? Then from Excel workbook, we're going to be clicking on the data we're using. I mean, the file we're using. This is the file we're using. So I'm just going to click on that for it to load. So we're going to bring out the navigator that shows us where the different sheets are represented. And there's a preview area as well. So I'm going to click on January, do a preview for me so I can see the records I have: contact, brand, contact, order, date, price, unit, scroll, unit sold, and sales. So what I want to do is to transform this data. I need to transform it to quickly do my append and send the records to the Excel so I can have more data added automated later on instead of going to add them manually. Okay, so we have our Power Query editor loaded here, and in just a minute it will be up. So what we can see here is the records for January, which is just 31 records from our 31 rows from our status bar. You can see 31 rows down here where my cursor is pointing. Can you see? Then we also have 6 columns. We're looking at getting appending them. We have the one for February and for March. So I just need to go to applied steps. Applied steps has to do with the records that has been kept. So Excel Power Query does record all activities performed on Excel. So basically, it has recorded everything we did from the source to the navigator and promoted headers and then to the changing of type. So now I want to just remove all these actions and take it back to the source. All right. So under the source, we have the name. We can see the 3 sheets we have: January, February, and March. These are 3 sheets we have, and then we can see the tables for each of the sheets. So we don't need these other items, kind and the order. So we can just click on Control to and highlight these records to delete them. So right click and then remove column. So once you do that, you just need to click on this button here where my cursor is right now, and you can just expand this record, right? So we're going to expand. When you expand, you can see that all the records we need is there. We have the one for February. But the only thing I can see here under number 23, that's row 33, is that the column header is still retained for each of the sheets, and that is not good. So we can just quickly work on that too. First of all, we need to change the header, use the first row as a header. So this is just here. Just click on this, use first row as header, and that works. So we're now going to perform the next action to remove this guy from here. Right, to remove this guy from here. So this repeats itself for the last tip sheet as well, which is the one for March. Right, so what we just need to do is to go over here to the filter pane and remove retailer. So all we need is just Nike, right? And as we do that, as we perform the action, that filter, every other row header is removed. So you can see the last action we performed here is filter row. So it takes action of everything, takes log of everything we're doing in here. So I've done this. I think that is all. So all we just need to do is to close this record. Yeah, I think we're done. Yeah, close and load. So once we close and load, it automatically loads in here the new sheet that was created. So we can see all our records. Thank you very much for that. So we can see all our records. We have 92 records. You can see we have 91. I mean 91 rows. So you remember that the first row takes the header, and so that's why I say 92. The first row one takes the header. So the header details. So now we have 91 records. I want to add more records to get more information. So I'm going to go to the source file to do that. So I need to add more records. So I'm going to copy this. See. April. I'm going to change this to April. Right? I'm adding April records. And I'm going to change this to 4. As soon as I do that, you can see that all my records are automatically updated. So I need to save this so it can reflect on the workbook. So you need to be sure this is saved. Okay, all right. So because if it's not saved, it's not reflect on the record. So I'm going to refresh this. Right click on this query connection here, and then you can see refresh. As soon as you do that, you see the number of records they have been increased to 122 records. So initially we had 91 records, now we have 122 records because we added for the month of March, the month of April, I mean. So you can scroll down to see those records that were added. Can you see them? We have them there. And note that as soon as you put in the record according to the format, Excel is as intelligent to align the records to where you want it to be. So just matter, the only thing you need to do is to perform the action and then get it done. So I think we've come to the end of this training, right? So come to the end of this training, and we have experienced and seen how to use Excel to append records manually, which is very familiar with everyone. Everyone does that. And then we have also seen how to use the function VSTACK to also perform calculations where you can append records vertically and then also add more records into it. And then we can also see how we use the Power Query to append records, and it has automation as well. So we just added records to our source data and automatically have it in our record. So that is seamless, if you ask me. It's very easy. When I work with large data or bulky data, it's very important to have these functions and this tool at hand so that I can be able to work effectively. Thank you very much. I believe you have learned a lot from this lesson, and just stay with more videos to be coming in as the day goes by. Thank you very much. Do have a nice day and stay blessed and smile every day.